Yes, life is really good when you open yourself and you say, I am going to be open and aware and willing to do what it takes to step out of my own way and to be happy. Life is so magnificent and it's filled with so many surprises, but often many of us are afraid of surprises and we try to control everything, not knowing that we don't have to figure everything out. We just don't have to. Isn't it true that when you are sitting by the phone and you're waiting on a phone call, that phone call doesn't come through, but it does come through as soon as you get up to leave the house? So if you notice and you take notice of when things happen, and when you do, you'll notice that when you try to put a lot of force on things, they don't work out. When you allow things to just be free, things do work out for you. And things will happen as soon as you release and let go. You know, they say if you let something go and it comes back to you as yours, and if it doesn't, it never was. You know, in my life and in many other people's lives that I've worked with, that has definitely been the case. As soon as we stop fighting it and move out of the way, things start to happen. So you got to begin to trust that you have already made some decisions even before you came to the planet. And even though you can't see anything other than what you're looking at right now, unless you want to, it is very real that this is not the only reality that there is, and that we have certainly been here before. You don't have to agree with me at all. You will find the answer to that yourself one day. I do not debate on existence or what is right or wrong or whatever, but we all have our own way. And once you see that things are so much deeper than what we see, then you'll begin to appreciate the road to getting to your satisfaction. You'll be happy about the process of putting your goals and dreams together. In the process, you know, the process is a part of the magic. It's we don't you don't need to wait until the wonderful thing happens until you can be happy. You can be happy right now because you have the ability to create and to do what you enjoy doing on some level, even if it's at the beginning. So, as you move through your day, you know, some of you are looking for this creative energy, which is why I did this article, why I did this recording. And creativity is something of a it's like a mystery, right? Some people have this creative force and they can channel it at will. Some people don't, or they don't know how to pull it up and use it. But creativity, I'm going to tell you about creativity. We all have it. It is a choice whether or not to channel creativity or not. And when you're flowing, when you're in the flow, when you're, you know, you just energetically flowing and you've let go and you're released and you're, so to speak, floating on water, you know, you're in the zone, then you'll notice that if you try to do something that you've always wanted to do, that you'll be able to actually do it on some level. And what happens is a lot of times people will try something one time and then they won't go back and try it again. You try to draw one time, it doesn't work, you never go back to it. 20 years later, you don't try it again. You feel like so many of us did, like myself, that when you start drawing, you should be a perfect, you know, artist off the bat. Which, you know, if you tune yourself properly, you can be. You can be perfect according to what you need to be. If you can see that you can have anywhere from 10, 20 unlimited talents coming out of you, but you can't use them all at one time, as you only have a certain amount of hands. So it's good that we have a certain amount we're able to pull out at a time, but some people can pull out more talents than another. And you hear about those people being multi-talented, and it is because they choose to be that way. A lot of times people that are multi-talented, they get bored when they don't have things to do. So they made sure that when they came to the planet, they would have a whole bunch of stuff that they could do so they wouldn't get bored while they were on the planet. And they love to be entertained, so they typically entertain themselves. It's like the child you see growing up, and you give the child anything and they make a toy out of it, and they play by themselves perfectly fine. And they play with other children too if they need to. But that's, multi-talented creative people are that way. They've got all these different creations that they can do, and all they want to do is create. They want to create, and they want to teach others how to create as well. So I feel ya, and I understand, and all you have to do in order to do that, you have to focus on what are some of the things that you enjoy doing? What are some of the things that bring a smile to your face when you're doing them? What are some of the words that bring a smile to your face when you hear them? What does it feel like to be feeling good? And you don't have to have anything to feel good. You don't have to have anyone say any words to you to feel good. But what you must do is vibrationally feel good. And once you do that, then that's where your power is. That's where a great amount of your power is. And you'll find yourself without a script, without a plan, and you feel good, and things are just falling into place. And you definitely, I know some of you have felt that before. It's happened. It does. But you just have to let it happen. And it's not like you're ignoring reality, but reality is not what most of us think that it is. If it was, then we would have probably, if we could choose something else, we would choose something else. But most people didn't know how to choose something else. So I'm going to tell you today, the way to choose something else is to focus on raising your vibration. And don't be focused on being obsessed with raising it, but make a point every day to be aware of you, aware of what you're doing, aware of what type of energy you're putting out and accepting. And also the things that can tell you whether or not you're in a space where the good things are going to come to you. You can tell by the way that you feel, number one. You can also tell by the types of people who are really reaching out to you the most. As your vibration raises or lowers, you're going to get the same mirror effect that you have going on with yourself. So the planetary energy right now is so strong that just by you focusing for a little while on a thing, even within the day, if you go out and try to find a parking space, that's my favorite example because it works every time. I went out of town, and then I told someone, hey, you can always find a parking space. Don't ever, you don't have to say you will never find a parking space, but if you're open to finding one and open to accepting one, and you declare that you're going to have a parking space when you pull up to a place, you will always have one. And that's that. Because a positive attitude is what opens doors. And being negative or simply resistant is not allowing things to move and flow. So things aren't going to really move as fast. They're going to be really slow and stagnant. And it's not that it's because it's negative, but because the energy is not really flowing in that type of environment. And when you're dealing with the universe is always flowing, it's always moving, it's thriving, it's alive. Nature is constantly expanding. And so if you get to a place where you're all cramped up and you're all angry about life and all that, then things aren't moving, things aren't flowing. And you can expect that in a situation like that, you won't see much growth or much expansion going on around you, because it's like you put a sign up that says, I'm not looking for that right now. lead me out of that. Meanwhile, everything else is going to continue to thrive and to grow and to expand, because that's what happens. Well, I'm going to go now. I just want to speak with you for a minute about creativity, how to tap into it, and do not look at anyone else's work, artwork, listening to their songs, the way they write or anything, and look at that as your work is less than anyone else's. The way that you do what you do is because you want it to be that way. If you want to do it a different way and you want to improve your stuff, do not compare to other people. Instead, go off to yourself and create. Create and see what flows through you, but only create when you're feeling your absolute best. I'm talking about when you're feeling blissful and you're feeling joy and you just feeling happy. You feeling all this gushy, you know, type of light happiness. You feel, a certain natural high. You feel very energetic and youthful. You can, and when you're out, people come to you, they start conversations with you. You notice there's something different about you. You can't put your finger on it. And those are some of the ways you know that you are in a place of allowing things to happen to you. And so when you're in that space, that high vibrational space, you're flowing, you can feel it. You can, you're tuned into everything. You are. And that's why people that normally wouldn't talk to you come to you when you're feeling good. And you go to people when they're feeling really good. But when people feel like crap or their energy's stagnant, you don't find them going out really talking to people. In fact, they avoid people. On that note, I'm going to go and just work on tuning your vibration. And if you have any questions for me, you can find me at www.blissreturned.com, and I will see you around. And that's it. Peace and love.